Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 5 of Revell's Colombo Express container ship. Scale is 1 to 700. In part 4, I built the command tower. So in part 5, I'm moving on to the containers. Before I get into the build, I'm going to be listing the paints. So there's quite a lot of paints to go on to these containers. If you can tell by the box graphic there, you can see all the different colours. So I thought it'd be wise just to list them now and get them out of the way, rather than what I normally do as I show you them as I'm painting. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. I'm starting off with the paint mates of Revell Aquacolor 310 Lufthansa Yellow 75% with 30 orange 25%. Next is Revell Aquacolor 36 Carmine Red 70% and Revell Aquacolor 83 Rust 30%. Moving on to the single colours now, and it's Revell Aquacolor 30 Orange, Revell Aquacolor 36 Carmine Red, so that's just a single use of this colour, Revell Aquacolor 50 Light Blue, Revell Aquacolor 55 Light Green, Revell Aquacolor 50 Blue, Revell Aquacolor 57 Grey, Revell Aquacolor 88 Ochre, Revell Aquacolor 301 White Silk, Revell Aquacolor 360 Fern Green, and lastly Revell Aquacolor 364 Leaf Green. So quite a lot of paints going on these containers, but it is worth doing. So I won't list the paints again in this video, so if you want a reminder you'll have to go back to the start and take note of which paints I'm using. So first the stem part for the containers, and these ones I'm painting on the sprue. Now each piece here has set up with various quantities of containers. They're basically little squares made up into solid blocks that you have to build up. Because this particular container is at the end of the ship, and obviously there's another one at the end of the bow of the ship, all these have to be painted. Now you don't necessarily have to do this all for every single container. You can if you wish, of course, but it would take a very, very long time to do. So what I'm doing here is just painting in the little squares, little boxes in various colours. So as you can see there, I've got one end piece and one side piece. Now I'm using my pencil here, and I'm just taking the graphite along the lines of each box. This is just to give it more definition. Of course you can do this with washes and things like that. I prefer a pencil. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, it's really easy to do, and it lessens chances of mistakes. After painting that many little boxes, you really don't want to mess around with it too much. And two, it adds to the weathering process as well. Once you varnish it, the graphite will run slightly, depending how much you put on, and that will add to the weathering. So now that the painting has been done for this particular part, it's time to build them up. Now, this back one has a slightly different shape to the rest of the containers. It has an instep to it. So I'm having to build the inner wall first of all. It's as you can see there, it's a little L shape that goes in the middle of the part. And once the core is built up, I can then place it onto the actual bottom area of the container. And once that's in and secure, I can just start building up the actual container. Now, these parts are very well molded. You shouldn't have any problems putting these together. If you are going to paint them on the sprue like I did, you have to bear in mind there's going to be 4 different ends, so you want to match up the squares. But it's not as difficult as it sounds, because on each reverse piece, a container that will be built inside, is an arrow and the actual part number. So say it's part 22, and on the sprue it will be stamped part 22 on the actual piece of plastic itself, and there'll be an arrow pointing downwards, and that's the direction the part goes to when you're making them up. So you can either take them all off the sprue at once and just go through it all and paint it all up, and then obviously assemble them. Or you can do what I did, paint them on the sprue, and then just take off the part that you are going to be building. And once I've built it, I'm going back to the top, and I'm just painting in the various colours for the top. Again, you can do this on the sprue if you wish, but I thought I would show different ways to build it. Now here's the finished unit. You can have it as colourful as you like. As you can see, I've got lots of different colours going on there, a bit of a kaleidoscope of colours. It all depends what you prefer to do. You can have them all yellow, orange, red, doesn't really matter. Containers come in all different colours. It's entirely up to the builder what they want to do. I wanted it a bit colourful, hence why I've done it this way. The next set of containers is for the bow of the ship, and this one's slightly different from the one I just shown you. This has a little end step at the bottom to fit into the prow of the ship. But essentially, again, it's just a triangular box and build it up. So I'm just building the framework first before I place on the back plate and the front plate. And now putting on the last section here, I think this is the back plate I'm placing on. And that's all there is to it. There's quite a simple construction, really. So as I said, there's quite a lot to build up. As you can see there, I'm just laying them all out. Now, it's also important to keep them in order, because some are slightly taller than the others as well. As it goes towards the prow of the ship, they get smaller and smaller. So it's important to keep them in the proper positions. So what I did was I made them up and placed, each time I made one up, I placed it on the deck where it's meant to go until I'm ready to paint it. So I've just taken them all off in order so that you can see them. These are the two that I painted on the sprue. As you can see there, it's just a simple triangular box. So now they're all made up, it's just a case of painting them. As you can see there, again, using all the various colours. Now, as I said, this is a very long process. It took me about 3 days in total to paint all these containers up. However, the middle parts of the containers, you don't really have to paint them that much. You can just put in block colours, because you will not really see the definition of the actual container once it's in position. But it does help having a little bit of colour there, just to help with shadows and things like that. So when you're glancing down onto the model, you'll see it's painted, but not necessarily every individual container will be painted. The individual containers painted are all on the outside and the top. So the side pieces, generally the top and next row down will be painted in blocks. And of course, as well, I haven't painted them in single colours all the way through. So I'll do a block of orange, I'll do a block of red, I'll do a block of ochre and white and so on, just to build up a random pattern. And this is where I'll finish part 5. I'm at the stage now where all the containers have actually been painted. I'm just putting a little finishing touches on it, putting some of the pencil markings on and so forth. And then the next stage will be putting the decals onto the containers and the actual ship. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only in this build, but all my future builds as well. Hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.